Hey YouTube, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles. We're going to continue down our path of the OG morphs and talk about some of the importance of the ones, the forgotten ones, the original ones, the ones that everybody starts. Today we're going to go back to the very, very beginning. At least what I think is probably the very, very beginning. Before we get there, make sure to like, subscribe, go check out the Patreon, yada, yada, yada. The Patreon's got a really great community that you get with it. Makes the value there above and beyond the value of listening to me talk, because fuck, I get bored of hearing me talk after about 20 seconds. I don't blame it if you do too. But go ahead and watch for 10 minutes because YouTube really likes that. Just play me in the background, man. It'll help out. So what are we talking about today? So one of the first snakes that brought ball pythons and put them on the map, right? Because if you know your reptile market history, ball pythons used to be kind of a trash snake. And what I mean by that is they had a reputation for being hard to care for, not doing well in captivity. All the things we talk about today was almost the exact opposite. That's because most of the ones coming in were coming in as captive hatched or just straight up wild caught. So they just weren't adjusting well. They were pissy. They didn't eat well. They were easy to stress. There wasn't a lot of people putting the time and care into really figuring out how to keep these animals at a really high level like there is now. So they just were kind of behind the eight ball. Boas were kind of the king. Corn snakes were the king. And ball pythons, just, they were kind of there. So what, yeah, but what changed that? Well, it's the polymorphism of ball pythons. There's so many morphs and so many colors and so many paint jobs. If you want to pull back in the good old Brian Barczyk days of phrasing, so many paint jobs you can do that they kind of just took off, right? And then as more things came out, more people got into it, the care got figured out, and now they're known as one of the easier reptiles to care for. It's not because they're any harder to care for or any easier now than they were. It's just because all the information's there and it's been done so much. It's easily accessible. There's always somebody to help you. And they still have some feed issues on occasion, but it's pretty easy to work through that. So what was the catalyst? Well, it's right here. I'm going to show you the catalyst. We're going to start with this one. This is a straight up albino. Yep. This is one of my big girls here, one of my older females I've had. I got her as a young adult. I mean, and she was a really young adult when I first got her, right? Come here, girlfriend. And that was probably in 2013 or 14, maybe earlier. So she's been with me quite a while. So this is probably, I'd say maybe a 15-year-old snake, give or take, maybe 14, somewhere in there. So she's got some good age on her. Still looks really nice. This is a straight up, no nonsense albino, right? Just an albino. People on the show table is always like, oh man, they'll see a bell and think it's an albino. Nope, albinos aren't solid white. Yellow and white, red eyes or pink eyes is kind of a telltale sign. Higher the contrast when they're young, the better off they're going to be as adults. Typically, I like a good high contrast albino. Her, for her age, is still looking pretty good. I mean, have I seen higher contrast? Yeah, I have. I'm going to show you some higher contrast before we're done, actually. But this was one of the morphs that really did it, man. Like, these came out, people went, batshit crazy over them and started spending big money on albinos. Of course, now they're pretty common, so nothing too nuts. You want to put this one back in Cage Mark Andromeda. So big money started getting spent on these albinos, which was a great thing. And then people started getting interested. More morphs came out. That led to things like pastel we already talked about, becoming out popular. Spider coming out and being popular. Pinstripe. All those things started hitting. Pied was the other one that turned on his head. We'll do lays on Pied too. But it all started, if my memory's correct, with that albino. That was ground fucking zero for the ball pythons, man. That hit, and everybody said, ooh.
Gotta have it.
And then it began to be bred and reproduced because greed is the root of all evil, they say, but greed is also the root of innovation. So people saw big money there. People started breeding ball pythons, and it went and took off. So some of the other albinos we don't unfortunately have a lot of albino combinations to show you. We'll talk about some. I just haven't really used it in too many combos, short of actually, yeah. So and the ones that we do have kind of are busy. Some of them are busy.
The pied albino?
We don't have a pied albino.
I thought that's what the new one was.
No. Nope. But we will show you some other albinos, talk about some combos. So I got two here. This is one of my just favorite albinos that I've got. So I decided to show her to you. And what is she? So she is another female. They're just kind of in the temp. That's not where they live. That's just their temporary. We're getting them out for filming. She is an albino. She has been proven to be het exanthic, and this is a super high contrast. Like if you look at how much yellow there really is through here versus the white. How popping that is. You got two different shades of yellow going on. Really kind of a cool thing. The other thing with her that makes her so neat and interesting, she's a paradox. What that means is you can see this smudge all over her. That is her skin tone. So there's a spot where the genetics didn't code. Not sure. Technically it could be a paradox or it could be a chimera. Usually when it's this little bit and the head's all one color, you're most likely dealing with a paradox. But you can just see that's not going to rub off. And that almost looks like it could be from normal coloration or even could be from exanthic coloration. It's hard to say. If it's probably more normal coloration, because that would make sense with the paradox. If I could identify that as being exanthic, it would then have to be a chimera. But I think in this case, it's just normal coloration or part of that albino didn't code. So this is a really cool animal. What's that?
Is this the one where if you test here, it'll be different than testing the colored spots, or is that the chimera?
Chimera would test different for sure. These I'm not really sure about on the shed test. But a chimera you could test and get two separate DNA chains from two separate animals. Basically, a chimera is an absorbed twin. But I really, really like this. The head influence in this is awesome and really nice. We kept her back, so we thought she'd prove out, and she has. Throw her dad up there really quick, which is what you're holding now.
All right. So
this is... I take that back.
Snow.
That's not her dad. It's probably a sibling if I look at the numbers. 2014-05 and looking like it 1809-05. So no, he's a lot younger. So this is an albino exanthic right here. So that's what this guy is. Break some coconut crap off of him. If I can only get a little scab there, I can't wipe that off. Get some of that dirt off of him. So he is what happens when you combo exanthic, which remember exanthic's going to strip the yellow, right, with the albino. So you're going to get almost a solid white snake. I don't know how well the camera's picking that up, with some pinkish reddish eyes. So these are really, really cool. But if you look close, you will see pattern and slight color in these. Oh, yeah. But it's very, very ghosted out. Very, very ghosted out.
Camera may not even pick that up, will it?
May not. So really awesome snake. So this is a double recessive. Of course, his job right now is to breed to that other female and see if we can't pop out, because when he breeds, all the babies will be at least albino. Half of them will be visual exanthic, the other half will be het exanthic, because he's going to pass albino and exanthic on to every single baby that he produces, which is what makes him really valuable for us. Put him back up here. Well, I guess I should have put the other one back up here too. We'll get that later. So the other albino combos we have that we cannot share with you right now because they're all busy would be Toffino, and that is an albino bred to a toffee. And what you're going to get then is it's like a Toffino, it's an elite combo, or it's like a toffee but lighter. It's in between, right? So instead of having white, where you see the white on those albinos, you'll see lavender. And they are a really pretty snake. That's one of my favorite combinations. And that's where our albino project has been pushed, has been mostly to that and doing the double recessive snow stuff. It all started with having just one albino, and now we've got 3 adult females, I believe, yes, that we're breeding this year. So they can, kind of takes off from there. Plus we've made hets with them to save back to do some albino pieds and things like that down the road. And then we've also moved a lot of Toffinos. So we do have a Toffino female, and we do have a Toffino male as well. Toffino is just... they're just gorgeous. You just have to look them up. I wish I could put one on the table, but again, they're busy, or the one female, we're kind of letting her de-stress a little bit, so we're not really showing her on camera at the moment because she's a little bit of a skittish eater. I also really like albino when it's done with darkening genes. This is a gene I wouldn't lighten. I think when you lighten it, you just get a shittier contrast albino. Albino pastels for me aren't it. Albino spiders are really cool when they're young, not as cool as they age. Black pastel in your albino, those darkening genes are going to make that pop, because you're still going to get white, but you're going to get that yellow to be a much more vibrant color and have more of a contrast with the white. So if I'm taking albino and I want to make it pretty, I'm going to want to do things that kind of darken it. They go really well with dark genes, in my personal opinion. Take that for whatever it's worth, which probably ain't much. Kurt, what do you think about albinos?
I like it.
What would you pair with it? What would you want to see in albino?
Blitz.
Blitz Albino would actually be pretty damn cool. I'm with you on that. We just haven't put those two projects together, but we probably will eventually. Being new to all these morphs, what do you think of Albino? Obviously, OG, everybody knows albinos.
I think they're pretty cool.
They are, like yeah. But what would you think would be good looking with that you've seen so far?
Hellfire. I don't know.
It would be, but it's going to brighten it, so it's going to like dilute it for me. But some people like that, and that's what makes this hobby so much fun. There can be something I look at and go, oh, God, I don't like that at all, and other people absolutely love.
I think Hellfire would look pretty cool though.
And
Definitely.
like Kurt and Clown. Kurt loves Clown. I think Clown is the most overplayed thing. Clown and Nickel. Clown is more overplayed than Nickelback in the fucking 2000s, man. Like it just is. It just is.
No need to diss Nickelback like that.
I mean, I
like Nickelback.
I don't hate Nickelback, but they were overplayed.
Yeah.
They got so popular, played so much, people stopped liking them because it was all you heard. They were a victim of their own damn success. To me, that's Clown. You know, Clown has lost all of its luster because it was just everything. I was like, I don't fucking care anymore. So that is one thing. Albino has had its meteoric rise. It began the market, and now it is one of the cheaper recessives you can get into. Why? Do you know why it's one of the cheaper recessives?
I have no idea. Probably because they're easier to make, easier to.
It's every recessive is just as difficult to make as any other.
Then I have no clue.
There's more of them out there. It's been around longer.
Oh.
So people who really wanted to had to have it already got it. You know, so like because it's
that makes sense. Them being one of the first ones.
And that's one of the things we talk about all the time is when you see these $10,000-$20,000 snakes coming out that are single gene, especially even if it's recessive, that never stays. Mm-hmm. It will never stay like that.
Someone's gonna go, I wonder. And
well, people are going to make them, and then the more people that make them, the more common they get, and it just tears itself down. And over time, it gets down to where it's a couple $100 snake. And that's just the market. That's normal, and that's not a problem.
Was that kind of the same thing with the blue-eyed leucisticus?
Yeah, actually it was. I mean, some snakes will hold better because they're in more demand for like brand new people. Like I always feel like bells are going to always have a decent mark. Pies will always have a decent mark because new people will go gaga batshit over them.
I remember I first saw my first piebald. I was like, now.
Gotta have it, right?
Gotta have it.
That's the thing with those. And albinos probably aren't as big of a hit as those two, but they are still really pretty, and people will just buy them because they're pretty. So no problems with them. Don't worry about the eyes. These are nocturnal animals. You don't stick a bunch of bright lights on them anyway, so they should be fine. Kurt, anything you want to add about albinos?
Nope.
Caden?
Nope.
All right, guys, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. We'll see y'all next time.